Alright, what's going on everybody? Anime Ramble back with another episode. Today we'll be discussing Kaiju No.8 Chapter 77. What is going on? Well, if you remember where we have been leaving off for a few chapters now, Kaiju No.9 has made his move against the Defense Force. Originally, I had speculated that his entire plan was to attack the infrastructure of Japan to completely cripple the country and leave the Defense Force and all of its citizens and civilians pretty much handicapped for the considerable future. But come this chapter, we find out that with the emergence of 5 new Daikaijus, right, all of them receiving an identified number associated with them, meaning that their fortitude level is so high it surpasses regular kaiju, honju, yonju to such a degree that they're in their own category. Now, up until this point, we've only had 10 really with the attack on Tachikawa base. But since then, Kaiju No.9 has managed to create 4 more new, 5 actually, because even though we saw 5 this chapter, there is still 1 that has not been shown yet. And I think that's kind of like Kaiju No.9's ace in the hole, his most reckless numbered kaiju that he has at his disposal, the one that probably takes the most considerable amount of energy to reel in. He's probably the most destructive. He's probably, or she, I'm talking about this white kaiju that we saw pop up but has not made an appearance yet within the most recent chapters of Kaiju No.9 attacking the Defense Force. This white kaiju may be unable to be controlled like the other Daikaijus, right? Someone or something that you don't want in an organized attack. That's somebody you just send out and say, hey, do your thing, wreak havoc, all your destruction. Just, when it's time to call it quits, just know it's time to call it quits. But that is not the main focus of this video. I just wanted to point that out because these aren't all of Kaiju No.9's chips. But on the flip side, Kaiju No.9 doesn't have the knowledge of all of the Defense Force's chips, right? Back when Kaiju No.9 managed to defeat Isayo, and he managed to absorb Kaiju No.2, in that moment he gained all of the knowledge that Isayo had. So when the Defense Force had their anti-Kaiju No.9 meeting, they were like, since Kaiju No.9 knows all of our strategies, he has all of our passwords, he knows all of our hidden bunkers and weapon storages, essentially he knows literally everything. Isayo was at the very top of the Defense Force ladder, so you could argue literally everything had to run through him, but he didn't know about any of the rookies, and that was the Defense Force's ace up their sleeve. Their plan was to rapidly train all of the rookies, Kikoru, Kafka, Iharu, Reno. They wanted them to basically go into the hyperbolic time chamber and do magic to come out complete juggernauts on the other end. And to their defense and to their credit, with this chapter seeing Kikoru about to go off on evil clone Kikoru, I think the training was successful. And I thought this was something very funny, right? You have the emergence of the 5 Daikaiju, the new 5 Daikaiju. Essentially, the plan for Kaiju No.9 was not to destroy the infrastructure, but was to separate the Defense Force's top guns, right, their biggest hitters, and systematically eliminate them. That's the plan. So you have Narumi, who's going to fight Kaiju No.11. You have Hoshina, who's going to fight Kaiju No.12. You have Ren, who's going to fight Kaiju No.13. You have Mina, who's going to fight Kaiju No.14. And you have Kikoru, who's going to fight Kaiju No.15. What's interesting about this is that Kikoru is the only rookie amongst the rookie who has a clearance to fight in this battle. The Defense Force, they don't have a problem with showing the Kikoru card that they have up their sleeve. They have a problem with showing literally any other card that they have up their sleeve. Kafka, we learned last chapter, or maybe it was the chapter before last, Kafka was actually said, look, I know you want to fight, but with the fact that Kaiju No.9 can literally track your every transformation like it's a homing beacon, even a partial transformation, we just can't risk you transforming and Kaiju No.9 showing up here right now and doing combat with everybody here. We don't have that type of power at our disposals. Keep in mind, they are all separated throughout the entirety of Japan, or at least throughout the main areas, right? Tokyo and all these different wards. They're spread pretty thin. The new Director General actually says this chapter that, hey, look, we don't have backup to send y'all. Right, even if we were to move some pieces around, there's nobody at the main Defense Force who can replace somebody that they moved to help out Kikoru, right? Like if they sent Ren to go help Kikoru, well, they don't have anybody in the back to take over for where Ren is leaving to help mitigate those damages. Pretty much every fight in this whole lineup is going to be a solo fight, and that was like the big kicker. Kikoru being the only rookie, who has the least amount of experience fighting, has a lot of weight on her shoulders. You actually see this chapter that she's kind of reminiscent of the fact that during every major battle leading up to this, she's had to be saved in some capacity, but now this is the time that she can do the saving, or try at least, right? Because she kind of already failed on one end. You see very early on in this chapter, right before she begins to fight the evil clone, Kaiju number 15 rattles off this minor blast from her mouth. Kikoru dodges, and nobody else behind Kikoru dodges at all, effectively taking out 6 people with one shot, leaving this crater in a building behind them. And you have evil Kikoru clone look at Kikoru and is like, oh, you didn't dodge that little attack? Basically insinuating that, yeah, this is light work for me. The fact that you had to dodge that and you couldn't block it says a lot about your power. And it also says that, look, you might have been able to block and deflect that, saving 6 people behind you and effectively being a better leader than what you are now. It is obviously has gotten to the head of Kikoru, because she instantly goes full release, 84% fortitude release. I don't know if it's going to be enough to take down Kaiju number 15. If you make the argument that the power level increases as the numbers increase, well, I mean, that's pretty much what we've seen up until this point. The only real outlier is Kaiju number 6, which is considered the king of Kaiju, which is considered the strongest Daikaiju that they've ever had to face. There are some exceptions to the rule, obviously, but that is not to be mistaken here with what we have going on from the current regime that is trying to defeat the Kaiju force that they have going forward. Now, there's really 2 ways that I see this whole battle going and ending, because if I was to believe that Kaiju number 9 wanted to destroy all of the defense forces like captains, I could believe that. But then I'd also have to believe that this series is coming to an end relatively soon, right? 25 chapters max, but I just don't see that coming. But there's really 2 ways that I see this going. Either one, this is Kaiju number 9's all-out assault against the defense force to try to cripple them, at least to some degree, making his job easier down the road. Or this is something that we've seen from Kaiju number 9 time and time again in the past, where he wants to create a distraction and do something off in the background. The fact that he still has a kaiju in his back pocket that the defense force don't know about. And, well, they do know about him, actually, because he did pop up, like 8-9 chapters ago when they first made their first appearance, in which case they just popped up and disappeared instantly. Number 9 has that kaiju in his back pocket for some reason. Whether he wants to use that kaiju as like a bomb and deploy it in a heavily populated area or within a defense force outright, kind of like what we saw with Kaiju number 10, how Kaiju number 10's job was to dive bomb the Tachikawa base back in the early 20 chapters, and his job was to take down the defense force in the defense force. You can make the argument that Kaiju number 9 wants to use his kaiju and release it within the main HQ of the defense force. As far as I am aware, the other numbered weapons have not been issued out yet. That could change. We haven't seen the captains currently debut their numbered weapons. We still don't know Mina's numbered weapon. We don't know Ren's numbered weapon. We don't know Jugo's numbered weapon, the captain of the 4th division. The 2nd division, we don't know. There are many factors in which we just don't know where these numbered weapons are. If number 9 wants to take back all of the kaiju powers that have fallen into the defense force's hands, his next plan of action is to simply regain those weapons. Now, he's doing the hard part first. He's going after the numbered weapons that have already been issued out. So he's going after Kikoru's numbered weapon, Kafka's, he's going after Narumi's, and I'm assuming Mina has a numbered weapon, and I'm assuming Ren has a numbered weapon. I'm assuming that they have those and that he's trying to get those back, but it would be so much easier if he went after the stash of numbered weapons that are not currently being used at the defense force to help bolster his army. Currently, he has about 6 Daikaijus at his disposal. There's a 6 Daikaijus that need human hosts and numbered weapons to go along with them. So if that is the case, this plan is going to be absolutely monstrous if he's able to successfully pull that off. Not only successfully pull that off, you have to keep in mind that he has the ability to essentially neutralize his entire presence. He puts up that little dome bubble thing, and anywhere he moves within the dome bubble, he cannot be sensed. There is no presence about him, and the defense force do not know about it, and if they do know about it, they don't have a way to combat it. So this is going to be very interesting moving forward. We actually still don't know the powers of the Daikaijus that just emerged outside of Kikoru clone, having that ability to essentially organize Daikaijus in the area. We saw a little glimpse of that with Kaiju number 10, how he was able to control the Wyvern Kaiju. Well, the Kikoru clone, Daikaiju number 15, has that same ability, but on a much larger scale. On top of that, she also has offensive capabilities. We don't know the abilities of the other Daikaijus, but this is going to be interesting to see moving forward. I know a new chapter is releasing relatively quickly. I'm going to get these videos out as soon as possible. I moved into a new place. I have my setup going. I have Wi-Fi coming tomorrow, so the upload should start the 19th. I don't know when this video is going to come out, but I will have my Kaiju videos coming out a lot sooner than the other videos. But yeah, expect more regular content. But I think I've rambled on long enough. If you made it to the end, thank you. If you're new, go plus ultra and smash that subscribe button. Let me know you rock with the content that I put out on the channel. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. Comment on the video your thoughts about what you think is going on, how you think this chapter is going to go. What do you think Kaiju number 9's actual plan is? What do you think the powers are of these Daikaijus? And again, what Daikaiju number 15? Is this a Kikoru Hikari clone? Or is it not? I'm sorry, it just looks way too much like Kikoru. I'm not going for it. I think this is going to be a legendary battle. So, like always, and until next time, I'm out.